Good afternoon, Phil. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Don't complain yourself.
Doing great. Thanks for joining us. It's great to have you here. Actually, one thing I was curious is how do you pronounce your name? I've known you for quite a while, and I don't think I've ever learned how to properly pronounce your last name.
So it's Philip Peterser. Um, that's how you say it.
Pidasa. Did I say that
Yes.
close? All right.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Great. Thank you. Excellent. So Phil and I worked together at Trustworthy Spider Lab for quite a while. Did a lot of a really cool engagement. You were in the EMEA region, I believe, back then. Now you're in North America.
That's correct. Yeah.
Great. So it'll be great to get to know a little bit more about you and your interests and all that. So if you don't mind, let's get started.
Let's do it.
All right. So my first question is, when did you first start your interest in computers?
Yeah. So that's always an interesting one. I can give you like the really long version or the
That's
shorter
what we're here
version.
for.
I
That's
think,
exactly what we're here for the long
yeah,
version.
the long version. So not the long version. I'll start with it started. I started at a very young age, probably about seven-ish. So that must have been like in '86, I guess. My dad came home with a computer, which was our first one. I think he got to buy it through his company somehow. Yeah, since then, I think it basically hooked me. Obviously, started playing games, floppies. Now I'm showing my
Having
age
a
big
quarter
time.
floppy.
Buck Rogers. That was the
Nice.
ultimate favorite. I think it was the one just before the 286, if I remember correctly. I can't recall, but yeah, since then, 286, 486 Pentium, all those, mainly playing games. But then one of my friends, if I recall correctly, worked for IBM, I believe, and he had these training manuals. I think it was basic, actually, basic programming, like a whole stack of them. And he was like, do you want these? Because he knew I was into computers and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, sure. So that's where I think the bug really bit me from a computer point of view. So yeah, programming, playing games, which
Do you remember if that was QBasic back then, or which version of Basic? Do you remember?
I think it was basic. If
Yeah,
I
okay.
can't remember exactly, but it was like
Yeah.
really, really basic.
I used to play with Basic in that area as well, so I was just curious. I never got to do anything very useful out of it, but it was
No,
still a foundation to learn programming, I guess.
no, I mean like I think I like shifted to something else, but what I could do with basic was like input output to the screen and that type of thing, and then I quickly
Draw
shifted
basic
because
shapes, maybe.
yeah. Basic wasn't I think the easiest thing, and then yeah, I quickly shifted to it was Perl, believe it or not Python. Python I only started using later, and which I enjoy a lot more. But not a programmer by any means. I think I'm sort of a jack of all trades, master of none when it comes to programming. So I can help myself enough, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I remember Perl makes sense because it was around before Python, right? The whole internet ran on Perl pretty much in the late 90s or so.
Yeah. I mean, I can't recall exactly when I started with, I guess, going online. I tried to remember, but I couldn't. I think I wasn't allowed to really use the phone line, so I had
Okay.
to like wait until my parents were asleep and then have the modem dial in, which is crazy because it made that loud noise. Yeah, so yeah, that was terrible. Got into lots of trouble for that, and telephone bills at the end of the month. Like we didn't grow up really, having a lot of money, so that really showed when you
Yeah.
spend like an hour or two online. So yeah, got into a lot
Did
of
you
trouble with that.
have, did you guys have to pay for local calling? Was it long distance that you were doing
It
on
was
the,
long distance.
okay,
I think
BBS?
that's what, yes,
Okay. Yeah.
because I was living in South Africa at the time, and yeah, we were obviously very, very behind. Yeah, so it was a bit of a nightmare getting online, but I tried my
Yeah.
best.
Nice. I remember those BBS days. Those were fun. Things were a lot simpler back then.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I guess gaming couldn't really afford games. I had to play some of the cooler games at my friends' houses, and pivoted into cracking games, which obviously led to, I think that was like almost pivoting into cybersecurity a little bit.
Yeah. Well, let's go into that then. So when did you first get an interest in cybersecurity?
Yeah, also try to think back exactly the moment, but I think there was a lot of talk about hacking, and it was very evil back then. All the bad guys used to hack, and I always found it very interesting how they could make things. How they can make computers do stuff that it's not really meant to do. So it's a bit of a cliche, but it's. I just found it fascinating that you were able to like it was meant to do this function and you can make it do something else. But I always was a bit torn between I don't want to be a bad guy, but I do like it's very interesting and it's cool and and that type of thing. But I don't want to do something bad. Yeah, I guess I dipped my toe over the line a little bit, but always try to be on the good side. So I guess in cybersecurity, my thought was, I want to use hacking skills, but for like a good cause, and that was before pen testing was a thing. So I guess what I wanted to do was pen testing before that pen testing was invented, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. You're right. At first, there was no such thing as pen testing. There was barely talking about security. People were doing tricks, and actually, I grew up in Canada, right? When I was a kid, it was not even illegal yet. So definitely a very dynamic and changing places.
Definitely, yeah. Interesting. And then obviously the movie Hackers came out, and then everybody went crazy, right?
I think that marked a lot of people, that movie. The Hackers movie, or at least spiked people's interest into hacking and rollerblades.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's I mean it's so far from the real thing, but it looks so cool how they did it.
Yep.
And I mean for a movie, or they like the special effects, I guess they did it pretty well. With the Gibson like flying through, and like the like the virus eating
Right.
eating the files and stuff. I think it was well done.
And they had the rainbow books too. They had a few things that was real in there.
Yeah.
That was
They had a
interesting.
couple of things. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Let's move on to the next question. I know you've pulled out a lot of really cool hack, but I'm curious, what is one of the coolest hack that you've pulled off that you'd like to tell us about today?
I mean, without going in too much detail, because for obvious reasons,
Yep. No client names.
confidentiality, etc. But I can talk about. I think there's maybe two that sticks out to me to this day, and I think it's like my favorite ones are always when something unexpected happens. So I think I can't remember the exact specifics, but we were on a red team. I think that was we were busy with external compromise, and I think they had the mail server sitting like a DMZ or something. So we managed to compromise that. I can't remember how we got the foothold, but we got a foothold into the mail server. The mail server had a direct connection to the EDR admin console for some reason. Don't ask me why. So we tried a couple of things against the EDR console, not to, we were obviously very wary of tripping something.
Right.
Getting into the and it was the EDR, I don't know if I should say which one, but it was in the top 3, if I can put it that way. So it's one of the better ones. I didn't know it had default creds at the time, but I did find out that
What year was
default
that?
creds. It wasn't too long ago.
Wow.
I think it must have been maybe it was after COVID.
Wow. Yeah, that's new.
So
There should not
22
be
maybe.
there
It
should
should not
not be
be.
anybody with default credentials after COVID. Maybe if in the
No.
early
Well,
2000s.
maybe it
That's
wasn't.
about
Maybe
right.
it wasn't default creds. Maybe it was just like very easy creds.
Yeah,
But I can't remember exactly what it was. Something like admin, not admin, and something
yeah,
stupid.
really
And
basic stuff.
so we managed to log into this EDR console, and then we realized it was the full admin console for the whole organization. So we, obviously what we were after is trying to get inside, and we were in the DMZ. So we used the EDR to drop our payloads for us to all the machines. I think we got
It became your deployment system.
Yes, yes, which I thought was very, it's not like this insane hack, but it was so sweet how it
It's the
like,
last place people think they're going to get
yeah,
compromised, right? Through their
it was so
EDR and
sweet how
deploying
how
stuff
the
everywhere.
payloads just float by, and we got so many callbacks, so many beacons came back. I forgot the number. It must have been in the 300s.
You
I didn't
dossed
even know.
yourself.
We were like, we had so much access, we didn't know what to do with it, type thing. So
Wow.
that was interesting, very
Very
interesting.
cool. That is a nice one. You mentioned a second one.
The second one, yeah. So the other one was a bit of a, it's a different, I think, a very mature company compared to this one. Also a red team. This was like one of the 6 month, quite a lengthy red team engagements where it started off. I think obviously external. So we started external, looked for some things here and there, and I think we found. I think it was on the Azure side or on the Office side. Some of the accounts, there was like a handful of accounts, maybe 3 or 4, that did not have MFA as a requirement. And I think that was like 4 days into the engagement, we found these. So we kicked off a, like a password, just a password scan, or well, just to see what we got, but very slow, just seeing what we get. And that was, like I said, 4 days in. And now remember, this is a 6 month engagement.
Yeah.
Start off, we kicked that off in I think it was in like an Amazon session on a TMUX screen, and sort of forgot about it. It happily ran, and we we looked somewhere else. I think we couldn't get a foothold initially, and then we pivoted to internal assumed breach. We were in there, and they were like really mature. It's not their first red team, and they were like triaging every system almost we were touching. Like if we look here, they were onto us. The SOC were like
quarantine it and
triage. So they would quarantine that box, and then we sort of had to like start from fresh infrastructure, fresh domain, like the whole thing. That's really painful from a red team point of view. So 4 days before the environment in the engagement shut down, we couldn't get far. I think we had some.
I know what's coming, I think.
We had, I think we laterally moved a little bit, nothing serious. And then, 4 days in, 4 days left, we remembered about this password that was running on that Amazon box. And it actually found a cred. We managed to, we were in assume breach at this point, so we didn't need it, but we could, just to prove the point, we could then use that cred, pivot in with our own foothold, and then we managed to actually get DA in the end because of that. And that was like, DC sync the domain controller, etc. So most of the hacking happened in that 4 days, as you can imagine.
At the beginning and at the end, and then the rest was just rebuilding and triggering stuff.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. The client was a bit confused because they were like, "I thought you said everything looked good." It's like, yeah, well, I don't know what to tell you.
What's the biggest lesson you got out of that engagement?
I guess just like taking notes, remembering what you still have running, and checking in on it from time to time, because we don't really sure when we got that cred. It might have
after day
might have
5.
happened soon. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't think so. We were checking on it. We were checking in on it, like I guess like bi-weekly or something. But yeah.
Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing those really interesting stories. Let's see what's next. What is, of all the different types of security testing, which one do you prefer and why?
I think I gave it away a little bit, but I would say red teaming and then purple teaming, but the red team side of purple teaming, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So I just like the just the way red teaming is versus pen testing. You sort of like have to be very aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it. It's more about not really finding the vulns. It's more about being aware of where you are and what you are. What I don't like about red teaming is, like, before you run a command, you're almost too scared to press enter. That stress
is
restart from
not
scratch.
nice.
Yeah. Exactly. But obviously experience helps. You sort of know what's going to happen, or that it's not the end of the world type things. Also depends on from client to client. Something that I do have to say is like, after like a very long red team engagement, it is nice to just, do like an internal pen test where you can just like throw everything at the environment
Be
and
super
don't care
loud.
about,
Yeah.
don't care about anything.
Yeah.
You just blast everything you have, so it is.
That's an interesting thought, actually, about right now with AI, right? The pen testing is changing quite a bit. It's going to be changing over the next few years. But I'm curious, red teaming it's out of reach for a lot of people right now, right? And just because you need to be more mature with your security program, typically you do pen testing and then you get to red teaming. I'm wondering now with AI, people are going to be able to test a lot more when it comes to pen testing, and I'm wondering if that's going to create more demand for red teaming. So I'm wondering if the average security posture of most organizations is going to be better, and then more opportunity for red teaming, while more of the pen testing will be done differently, probably more often and more automation.
I think red teaming as we know it will change, because you'll almost have like I almost see like a red team light, if I want to put it that way, where AI can definitely help with that, because AI is just boosting everything. It's just making
Yeah,
all these
amplifying.
complex, it's making all these complex tasks very manageable and very very achievable within a time frame. And I think from a company's point of view, it's all about cost in the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And what can you fit into, say, that 5 days of the engagement, that 40 hours? What can you do with those hours? And I think with AI, if you pair your skills with AI, you can probably achieve, say, 80 hours worth of work in 40 hours. I'm just thumb sucking, probably much more even.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You can get a lot more done now with the toolings we have versus what we had just a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I do think, like everything, as our tools get better, security of the companies will get better. That's the whole point
Right. Yeah.
for
That's our goal,
security.
really.
Yeah. But other side of the coin, attackers are getting better as well. So we like stepping up the game on both sides type thing. It's a cat and mouse game
It is. It
always.
absolutely is. Yeah. Just the game is changing, but it's the same game.
The same game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is about what's something you think everyone can do to get better results when they're security testing? Maybe mistakes you often see, or something you do that you don't see a lot of people doing, you think they could benefit and get better results out of their security testing?
I think, and I want to pivot almost to, I've been playing a lot with some CTFs lately and using that as a learning and a teaching tool. And I see very similar trends or mistakes people make in CTFs, which they also do I don't know if they learned that in CTFs and then carried over to pen testing, but I see that in pen testing also. I think people need to slow down, because they almost, want to get to AD type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're missing everything else along the way. There's like a whole bunch of things. There's like low severity vulns that they might not see. But as you know, low severity doesn't mean low risk.
Mm-hmm.
If you string those together enough, you can come up with a pretty serious attack chain. So I think slow down. See what you have before you pivot to another box. Make sure you've exercised or enumerated, or your reconnaissance of the situation where you are in. It's like situational awareness, right? I think people need to take that, I guess, a bit more in depth. And also, when you do this, take notes. When I started pen testing, I was like taking screenshots every 5 seconds. I was like so scared that I'm going to miss a screenshot that I want to put in the report later. So I was taking screenshots, but I'm better now. So, but still, you need to take a lot of screenshots, take a lot of notes. People, when they read through, like say tool output, right? people don't read their tool output sometimes, and I see this with some of the guys, not in my team specifically, but maybe some, when I QA a report or whatever, the pen tester would make an assumption, but in the output it would say something else.
You missed a finding.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking like something like FTP, right? They would say
Yeah.
FTP is vulnerable, but in the output it says it's using SFTP, which is not the same thing, but it's
Not at
in the
all.
output. Obviously, the tester only saw, ran
It's
FTP,
the
but
F.
didn't really look at the screenshot type thing. So that and like some of these tools, like Nmap, right, as an example, how much if you go verbose output, there's like so much it puts out that people
Yep.
don't see or read or not know what to look for. You might, like, if you take notes, right, you might look through your notes and see something you haven't seen. I still do it to this day when I do reporting. I'm like, wait a minute, I think I missed this year. As you go through the report, it's maybe like the fourth time you're looking at it, and then you're not skimming through it. You're like reading it maybe a bit more with more in depth, and you see something. Oh, I didn't see this, and then go back and like, oh, I've got another finding. It happens to me quite a lot, and I've been doing this for a while.
Yep. Do you do this? Usually when I start, I will, because I got burned by this, right? And I think that's what you're explaining, that you find something really interesting and you think maybe you find a SQL injection somewhere, right? And you think it's going to work. And then you start working on it as opposed to mapping the whole thing, really understanding what you're dealing with. Because if you do that, instead of like getting stuck in the first thing you find, you'll have a list of 15, 20 things that look interesting, and rarely is the first one the most interesting. It's usually
Yeah.
further along the line that
Yeah.
you'll find the most interesting thing to dive into.
Yeah, I've seen that, especially with like logic flaws, right? You can't find a logic flaw if you go down every rabbit hole that you see, which companies might, this is not their first, like, say, app test, right? They've done these before, so they've maybe closed those holes, but there's still those entry points look interesting, but they might have closed it off like a couple of tests ago. So if you don't have that holistic view, you're shooting yourself in the foot a bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Usually the first thing you'll probably come across is probably the first thing somebody else came across before you. I also always have this philosophy of try to go further than the last person that looked. That usually is pretty fruitful. Anytime I identify something that makes it harder to test, this is my signal that you gotta get over that harder piece to get to new ground.
Yeah, and I
Cool.
think also, like, if you if you have the luxury of if it's a client that you've tested, like this is the second year of testing, you can always look at the previous report. I wouldn't do it on day one because I like to just have like a fresh perspective. But like later on, it might be just good so that you see you didn't miss something obvious.
Yep. Yeah, and also you can learn the style of issues that they had. Like if they had a lot of authorization issue, then you might
Yes.
know that's somewhere that's worth looking at.
Yeah, companies, if they know how to fix this, like one bug, they normally fix it quite well. But if they, like you say, authorization, if they don't do it well in one place, the chances are tend to none that they, also in other places, you'll find the
Right.
same thing.
Yep. Same developer, same
Yeah,
framework,
exactly.
same mistakes. Cool. Next one is how are you using AI in your security work today? AI is the buzzword right now,
A
so kind of
buzzword. Yeah, everybody's so scared that AI is going to take your job, right? So that's yeah, I don't want to get
what do you
into
think of
that.
that?
I don't think there's some aspects of a pen test, and I'm just taking a pen test just to make it pretty simple. There's some aspects that AI will never be able to do. AI will never be able to tell the client, listen, this is what we found, and talk them through that. They're going to want to speak to a person, especially if they old school.
Yep. Yeah.
I've got loads of clients that in the kickoff calls they say like no AI is allowed, which I think is a mistake. But I think you should not try and replace skill with AI. You should pair it with skill. I think is my thought. If you put a skilled person behind, or if you give AI to a skilled person, like the results will be insane versus giving it to a non-skilled person. You can only get out of AI what you can put into it. I mean, like, I'm not sure if people know this, but AI is not gonna like say from a pentesting point of view. There's like say there's like the OWASP top 10, right? It only knows how to do those 10 things. It's not gonna find the 11th one without you as the human, helping. It's not. Yeah, it's not gonna find something new. It's gonna do it really well. It's gonna be able to find those 10 things really fast. Go through volumes and volumes of things,
document the report and the finding,
and that type of thing. But I don't think it will ever get to a point where it will be able to be innovative. I think that's not AI.
Well, yeah, because AI really auto-completes pretty much.
Yeah.
It just predicts what's next and gives you the most likely thing. Ultimately, it does not, it's artificial creativity. If you see creativity, I guess, out of
it. I think that is where people get confused is with the chatbots, because it's always helpful. It's always coming up with new things. It's not really new. It's just saying it differently, and it appears to be new. But I think that creates the illusion of being innovative.
You can build new things with AI, but you have to
be of course
telling it
yes
things exactly.
As the human, yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's obviously I'm making a very broad statement, but I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things involved. But anyway, so how I use AI currently is I just use it as a tool because I want to know, there's like two aspects. Because I'm a pen tester, I want to be able to know how to break AI, firstly, because I mean, clients are, I don't know if we had some clients asking for AI testing, where it's like, can you break out of the AI, like from an offensive point of view?
Yep.
As well as the second part is using it as a tool to enhance my methodology or my workflow, help with, like you say, report writing, that type of thing. So I almost see AI as a new programming language, and I'm learning how. This new syntax of the programming language. It's easy to understand because it's natural speaking, but you still have to speak to it and to get what you want out of it, type of thing, if that makes sense. So that's how I.
Yeah, the more you work with AI, the better you get at prompting, essentially.
Yeah, I think if you try and avoid it, it's a big mistake, because I think you need to get as comfortable. You might not like it. I mean, if it's in your opinion, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I feel like I'll be doing my clients a disservice if I don't know how to pen test with AI and how to break AI. I need to be able to do that.
Yeah, a lot of the apps we're looking at, I would say like 90%, if not more, have some kind of AI built in, some chatbot or APIs that use AI or some AI functionality. So yeah, if you want to test modern application, you need to know prompt injection and jailbreaking and what's an MCP server and how to test it and all that.
Yeah, it's all new technology. I mean, it's like, it makes me think a lot of, you remember when cloud was a new thing? Everybody rushed, I gotta get cloud. It's going to save me so much cost and it's going to do this. It's like, jobs were changing. People were moving all their on-prem stuff to the cloud. And then, sort of when that bubble popped, everybody started moving some back. And now, everybody does it like a hybrid model. And they almost kept the good things from cloud and sort of like did away with the bad things. So I almost see that as similar AI to a similar extent as cloud.
Yeah. So basically, a lot of hype initially, and then there's a lot of naysayers as well. And the hype people are wrong, and the naysayers are wrong. And somewhere in between is the truth.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of I think also people are, it's a buzzword, right? And buzzword sells. That's where
this is the agentic podcast, by the way.
Yes. Not.
No, just kidding.
Definitely. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think it is definitely impacting us. Actually, that's the next question is about how do you see it changing offensive security testing and defensive security testing? We talked a little bit about it already. Do you have any other thoughts on how it's going to affect offense and defense?
Yeah, I mean, offense, it lowers a lot of friction. I mean, you can move faster, you can write faster, you can research faster. You can just you've got a lot more to your almost to your toolbox in terms of offensive testing. You don't need to like volumes. Say you don't need to write a program to get through all this volume of data to look for the needle in a haystack. You can almost say, you don't have to worry about writing the program. You can just tell AI to go and find the needle. Obviously, not that easy, but like a lot of friction. And then from a defense side, the same thing. From a SOC point of view, I think the attack chains they can pick up now versus previously with the help of AI, I think it's next level. They can recognize. I mean, just think something as simple as image recognition. If you take text on an image, if you have a photo of text, how easy is it now to grab that off the image versus a couple of years ago?
Way easier, way more
Yeah, I
accurate.
mean, well, yeah, I mean, like back then, it gave you a whole bunch of stuff, whereas now it's almost perfect.
Yep. It can
So
translate it for you at the same time too.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's crazy how you can speak to your chatbot in any language. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yep.
It's crazy. So I'm natively Afrikaans speaking. So I've been speaking to the AI in Afrikaans, and it answers me back like quite accurately, which is insane.
That's amazing. I wonder, I one day I was testing something and I had it speak a whole bunch of language. I forgot which one it was. There was like a finite number of language that it knew. It knew like, I don't know, 30 or 40. And then if you get into more exotic language, it didn't know them as well. But yeah, it's still super interesting that it can do all of this in all these different languages. One other thing I did was interesting. I was using Turbo Pentest to do pentest, right? I used the MCP server and then had it write a song about the high and critical severity finding for a specific domain. This is just stuff that's just, it's kind of nuts, really, that you can do that.
Yeah,
Just plug
it is
these things
crazy.
together and just do some kind of crazy magic pretty quickly with AI.
Yeah, it's like that. It makes me think of your live stream with that with the song, that country song.
But yeah,
It's quite catchy. I like it.
yeah, I like that song. I like it.
It's
I
very
don't.
cool.
I've tried
People
to
like
generate
good
others.
comments.
I try to generate others, and that's the only one that come out that good. All the others are not as good, so we'll keep it.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is what is the biggest misconception people have about security testing?
I think, when they think pen testing, right? I think there's a big misconception of what you do day to day. I think people forget you are consultant in the end of the day. So hacking is like almost like a small part of your role. I've got clients that I need to keep happy, and I need to like answer their questions. I need to give them a report. I need to be able to explain impact, and I need to show them what's going to happen if somebody like abuses their access type thing. So it's not just let's hack AD. It's a lot more that goes into it. I think that is, I think a lot of people will like basically in your report, you're just showing off your tricks type thing, which I
Right.
don't think is the case. When a client turns around, it's like, why is this low vulnerability? Why is this high vulnerability, not a low? I think it's more like the consultancy.
Yep.
I always tell my guys, it's cool to be a pen tester, but you got to be a consultant as well.
It's
I
yeah, I
feel
think
like,
it's even more important because if you're gonna only find bugs and you're not able to show why it's important and how to fix them, you're not really bringing any value. For the business, the value is all about what you find and help them fixing it and reducing the friction in doing so. So
yeah,
very solid
100%. Yeah.
point. Consulting is absolutely, especially with AI now, it's even more important than ever.
Yeah, because people they just want it, but they don't understand it. They don't understand, why is this thing not doing, why is it not doing the same thing every time I ask it, right? Why isn't it giving me, why if I ask it a question, every time it tells me something not different, but it words it different, or that type of thing, or when I implement something, why is it doing this? Yeah, so yeah, it's a lot more explanation that goes into that. And obviously, people who's, I don't want it. I almost feel like, yeah, there's a lot of clients that still say, I want AI in my environment, but I don't want you to use AI in a pen test, which I think is
Oh, that's
crazy.
interesting. I've not heard that one yet. That's interesting. Do you have any understanding of why they think that way?
I think it's just because they are scared that you're gonna let a like an agent loose on their network and not
I
not
see, like a wild dog that. Okay.
yeah, it's just gonna go crazy, without guardrails
Okay.
or whatever. It's gonna
Unmanaged.
hack everything
Okay. Unmanaged, uncontrolled.
without scope, right? I mean,
Yeah.
even a human being without scope is dangerous,
Yeah. Yeah.
in my
Absolutely.
opinion. Not just AI gets the blame for a lot of things. And I think it's just because it's the new word of the day.
I guess it's like self-driving cars, right? If one self-driving car gets into a crash, everybody's like, "Ha, those are bad." But the truth is, how many car crashes do they get in versus people? Is really what we need to look at.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about
Very cool. All right. Next one's somewhat similar but different. What's a vulnerability or attack vector that you think is underestimated right now that people don't look enough for or find a lot and you feel like other people should pay attention to?
I still think it's the basics. Sad to say, it's still misconfigurations, weak permissions. I just think like it's over trusting something that does not, like they would. Like a simple example, I don't know, people don't do it these days, but giving admin access to something that doesn't need it. Why? That still happens. And the answer is it's easier because you don't want to, you don't want to get a phone call 2 o'clock in the morning, I can't access this. That's why you give it admin access. It's from a security point of view, it's a nightmare, but that's still what we see. I mean, still basic configurations. I mean, SQL injection, how long has that vulnerability been around?
We're
Was
still
it
finding
2000? Still
Yeah.
finding it. It's not going to go away, I don't think.
Yeah. It's funny because most of the frameworks now they actually filter it out or make it more difficult, but there's always somewhere somebody did not use the framework the way it should be done and we're
Yeah.
able to find SQL injection.
Yeah,
Definitely
security is hard.
What's that?
Security is hard.
Yeah, for sure. That's why we're breaking stuff. It's a lot easier
Exactly.
than fixing it all.
Yeah, what's that saying? Like an attacker only needs to be right once, right? Where a blue team needs to be right all the time.
That's right. I used to do both and not anymore. There's a reason. Next is actually I got these questions reversed. If someone wants to break into cybersecurity today, what's the piece of advice you'd have for them?
I think the biggest thing is, stop waiting until you are at a level. Say, I'm gonna get to this level, then I'm gonna get into it type thing. Just start. I think, and I think that's probably for like most things. If you just start, get your hands dirty. I've stopped playing with the local hacking networks just because I find it a pain to maintain and update. I've been using CTFs now to play with. Just go into a CTF, play with. There's like stuff like Hack the Box, Hack Smarter. There's like so many out there now, which wasn't the case previously.
Yeah.
But there's so many places, and they do like they'll have free labs that can teach you attacks. And I think the one thing people maybe miss is it doesn't matter how many YouTube videos you watch or how many training videos you watch, the hands-on keyboard experience, you still can't get away from that. That is actually doing the attack. I can watch it's like this attack, this video of how this attack works, but without doing it, I'm going to forget it or not going to be able to do it properly. So there's so much resources. You almost don't have an excuse to break into cybersecurity. And I mean, cybersecurity, I would say like the initial, I mean, if you start at the very beginning, like A+, security plus level, if you start there, you don't need to decide if you want to do offensive or defensive yet. It's almost the exact same path until you have to split off. It's the same fundamentals. It's the same understanding. Even if you learn, say you want to eventually pivot to deep, if you learn that offensive side, it's still beneficial for you later on. Both. They just complement each other so well.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap basically between the two, and the specialization comes in later after a lot more experience. And that
Yeah,
was
and I mean,
my
like, sorry, I get a lot of questions with people like, I want to become a red teamer. It's like, yeah, that's all good and well, but that's not really a place where you can start. You know,
right.
you sort of have to start, you know, do the fundamentals well until you know, do pen testing, and then you'll find it a lot easier. I just think, like, you know, imagine, put yourself in the shoes of, you know, I want to be a red teamer. You haven't red teamed one day in your life. A company hires you and say, like, there you go, here's the cobalt strike, you're the red team now. Imagine, you know, you don't, you know, from experience, you won't be able where to start or what to do. So
Yeah, because ultimately what we're doing, right, is we're taking things that are supposed to do A and we make them do B when they were not designed to do B. So in order to do that, you really have to know how A works to make it do something it wasn't designed to do. Makes sense. You definitely need that foundation.
yeah, and also, like, from a company point of view, you know, if you have a consultant working on your network, and I say consultant on purpose, they know what to do not to break your network. Because I mean, there's certain ways to break a network as well, or an app, or a database. If you do, if you don't know what you're doing, it can be potentially dangerous in the sense that it will cost the company money to recover, or whatever the case is.
Downtime or loss of data and things like that. Yep, absolutely.
And also, from the pen tester, you're the first one to get blamed if something goes wrong.
Yeah, even when it's not you, right?
Yeah, experience will help you when somebody comes to you and is like, you know, this is down. Was it you? It's like, nope, it was not me.
Yeah, that happens very frequently. Like even like you're not even doing a pen test and the client's like, "Is this you guys?"
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah. We've got clients like, I think like 6 months later, they're like, is this you guys? It's like, no, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, well, you're right. We're always the first. Great. Next is just to wrap up, could you tell us a little bit about where people can find you and follow your work? Tell us maybe a little bit
Yes,
about
recently
HaxrByte.
I've yeah, HaxrByte. So recently I've I think it's like almost a year now. I've been running a YouTube channel, and the idea was, you know, I wanted to just give something back to the community, and because I'm in red teaming, you know, I try and so you can't really on YouTube you can't show people how to bypass EDR, for example, but you can teach them how to think. You know, what do I do if I'm, you know, if I see this or after this? So I'm focusing more on the, I guess, the train of thought, you know, pen testing and red teaming point of view of what to do next, what you know, and just how to handle certain things. And I pair that with live streaming. So I do a live stream once a week on
Thursday.
Thursdays, yeah,
Is it 8 p.m.?
8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And I spin up like a hack the box machine or a hack smarter machine, and then I try to hack it blind. Now I do this on purpose because, you know, I've been pen testing. I've got 20 plus years that I've been doing pen testing, but I still hit my head. I still come against. I hit the wall where I don't know what to do next. You know, the idea is to show the people that, like, the train of thought
How to
and
get
the
through that?
struggles. Yes, from a real life point of view. So, you know,
Yeah,
I'll teach you through showing.
that's a good point because if you watch movies and stuff, a lot of the time it's just like da, 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 and then it's done. And the real world is very different. A lot of thinking
Yeah,
and troubleshooting, and
yeah. That's a good point actually. You know, it's a lot of tools broke. You know, I need to fix it. The tool's not doing what I wanted to
something it's
do,
not
or
compiling, and
yeah, I'm not seeing. Yeah, exactly.
something's not
Yeah,
responding the way you'd expect
Python's
it
not working
to.
well.
Very cool.
And yeah, it's very different to, I mean, just doing a normal walkthrough video. You know, the guys do the boxes beforehand. They run through the walkthrough, you know, with the optimal path. They do one thing after another. Everything is smooth, and they look awesome because they've pwned this box in 5 minutes. But it's not real life. That's not how it works.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time today. This was a great interview with you. It was great to get to know you a lot more. Maybe we can do something different again later and share a little bit more about our world with the rest of the world. It'd be
Awesome.
great to have
Yeah.
you again. All right. Thank you, Philip. And hope you have a good one. And everybody, do go check out Philip's YouTube channel and Thursday at 8 p.m., 7 Central. And again, thanks, Phil. And that's it. We're out. Take care.
Thank you. Keep well.